So what if you had a setup limited to 2 devices? One would be, let's say, a secondary device like a synth, but the main device will be some sort of a sequencer, some sort of MIDI. Which one of these will be the best for that? The SP404 Mark II or the Circuit Track? So to kind of go straight into it, I will see this as in few different points. The first one is MIDI. Which one of these does MIDI? Because these are very different devices in a sense, but they kind of also a little bit similar. Since we are going to sequence, let's say, an external device, being able to sequence MIDI is very important. And on this, I think the SP404 is a little bit far behind, because the SP404 has kind of a clunky MIDI setup. So for instance, I have the Roland S1 right here, hoping to kind of make it work with the SP404. But for the SP404 to send MIDI notes to a device, external device, you have to kind of tweak the menu settings a little bit. So there is this MIDI settings where you can send like sequence out, where you can send like the pad note. And this then allows you to send notes to an external device. So for instance, that's the Roland S1. But there is a problem with this, because right now you see these are blank pads. There is no like dedicated MIDI channel here, so I have to have blank pads, and this is kind of doesn't work when you have things on your pads. I know that's Stab and the S1 can only use the empty pads. The Circuit Track, however, easy, simple MIDI setup. I just have 2 dedicated MIDI channel. Right now I have the micro cord. Easy, I can just adjust the MIDI channel. I can do many things. There is no real kind of settings other than like the MIDI channel thing. So this one for MIDI, I think, easily goes to the Circuit Track. Effects, I think in this, there is no real comparison. I think the SP404 is far ahead when it comes to effects. So for instance, and it's easy, kind of like, with the SP404, we have 2 buses, well, 4 buses, but 2 buses that are easily accessible, and these buses can be assigned to any pads. So I think FX goes very far on the SP404. The Circuit Track has also effects, but for instance, I have this beat. It's a little bit kind of, you have the filter, you have like the effects and delays, like the reverb and delay, and then on top of that you can do like some sort of cut stuff. But I think the SP404 has a lot more to offer when it comes to effects. Another very important point, I think, is either sidechain or compressor. We all know the SP404 doesn't have sidechain compressor, and we all kind of know that the sidechain on the Circuit Track is kind of good. So for instance, have this without sidechain, and add the sidechain. It does add that pumping if I do it too much. It does that. But other than this, the Circuit Track doesn't have any sort of like end of chain effects. Of course, there will be some sort of compression because of my mixer and then how it goes through the speaker. But I think this is a big plus for the SP404, because I personally believe that a compressor is better than having sidechain. And the SP404's compressor is fine. It's great, actually. Even if I don't really slam the compressor too much, you kind of hear that there is some sort of compression in it. So if I push it to a max, kind of feel compression. So I think this is a lot better than having only a sidechain. I would say a compressor wins, for me at least, over sidechain any day. So yes, compressor, a plus for the SP404. So the next one is sequencing. These are very different devices in many ways, but also kind of similar in some ways. They both offer like a two-way to input notes. So either you can just input the notes as it is, or you can record them. So you can do that as well. I think both of them has these sort of ways, but they kind of approach it in a little bit of a different way. For the circuit track, I think it's very immediate. So you just pick your drum, type your notes, and you're in. Then you can choose things later. You can choose velocity. You can adjust different starts, gate, and stuff like this. On the SP404, it's not that easy. So for the SP404, first, if you want to record something, you need to pick a pattern. And then after you pick your patterns, or let's say I have this pattern already. If I want to record it, just hit record, but I need to play my pattern first. But then if I want to use like the step sequencer, and I have to put shift and then rec, then I am in this step sequencer. Then I can adjust where I want to go. And then after I input everything, then I can adjust velocity and this sort of thing. So I think the circuit track is a lot more kind of immediate. So you input your things and then you can adjust. On the SP404, kind of adjust a few things first and then you can input. But yes, I think for this, it's a plus for the circuit track for me. Now, one big difference between these two devices is sampling or synth. It's a very kind of straight thing, is that either you sample or you synth. And on the circuit track is a very kind of versatile device. You have very good synth engine, I think. You have the MIDI track, that's also an additional synth. Then you have the drums, the drums are ultimately samples, but those are kind of shorter samples. But one thing that, although it's very kind of complete, one thing that I have always kind of struggled with the circuit track was the ability to sample. On the SP404, sample is kind of the main thing. And it is a very big thing for me personally. Although the SP404 has like a synth, like the sound generator, it's kind of it's not really a useful feature. I think it's just there to, I don't know, just in case. But sampling is, it's kind of what makes this device. It's a very good sampler, and that's very important for me. So this one is for the SP404. So yes, although I offered like plus for this, I think what matters most is what you're trying to get into or trying to go for. These devices already have a lot and offers a lot. They are very convenient, small, portable, and kind of the user interaction and the user experience is very good in my opinion. And then on top of that, you want to add the synth or the third device. That's already like a very powerful setup. So the SP404 is my choice for this one. Although I like the circuit track with its synth engines, MIDI tracks, simple MIDIs, drum track, the way it kind of sequences. The sampling aspect of the SP404 wins me over. I'd much rather kind of learn the kind of clunky kind of workaround of the SP404 rather than not having samples. and having external MIDIs. Ultimately, I guess it depends on the external device that you're using, but I think you can kind of work around and inputting notes. The Roland S1 has its own kind of pads to input notes. But yes, all of that, I think having the ability to chop sample, resample, and kind of tweak samples are very important. And then on top of that, you have the effects, compressor, and these sort of things. But for me, mainly the samples. So yes, that's all I wanted to talk about, man. Like, these two devices are kind of separate and kind of have their own strength. My personal choice is the sampler rather than the Groovebox or kind of the sequencer. But yes, they are better together though. That's definitely for sure. But yeah, thank you for watching, and then I'll catch you on the next one.